Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to That to Shoot. Normally, I might have to stop saying this. My weekly episode show what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. There hasn't been a That to Shoot in a few weeks. Life happens, life intervenes, other things happen, video games drop. So I wanted to do this probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and uh, just things came around where I wasn't able to do it. So, but I got these things now. So we're gonna talk about the 5 things that I would like to see happen under WWE under new WWE management. So I've got 5 things. We're gonna talk about all 5 things, and we're gonna go from there. Uh, I will tell you that I will be having another That's a Shoot come out later Friday night as I talk about the predictions for WWE Clash at the Castle and then the NXT Worlds Collide um, pay per view happening this weekend. And then also don't forget that I will have reactions to both things, both premium live events, uh, Saturday and Sunday. So make sure you're there. Click the notification bell so that you get all of my videos notified when I put one out. And yeah, let's go ahead and let's get started. Okay, so I got 5 things here. We're gonna go at it one by one and just talk about it. First one is less premium live events. I've talked about this in many videos. We need to shorten these premium live events from 12 to 6. And I've talked about this all the time. You got the Royal Rumble. It's the last Saturday in January, so it doesn't conflict with the championship game on Sunday, or you don't have to push it into February. It stays on Saturday night stays in January. Saturday night is a good night for it. So I think that's what you need there. Um, then you have WrestleMania. The last 4 days in March, the 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st, or the first 4 days in April, April 1st, April 2nd, April 3rd, April 4th. That's when WrestleMania should happen, and it should be one day. You're still doing these 2 nights. WrestleMania 40 is gonna be 2 nights in Philadelphia. I just don't know. I don't. Fuck the pandemic for doing that to this. WrestleMania should not be 2 fucking nights. Um, the third one is Extreme Rules on Father's Day in June. I think that's a good day for it. I think, and then the next one would be SummerSlam. Um, It would be the third Saturday or Sunday in August. Again, one night. There's something I don't know. Going back when SummerSlam was happening, there was even talk about maybe SummerSlam being 2 nights. No, no, stop with the 2 night events. No, SummerSlam third Saturday or third Sunday in August. Um, the October event. I personally, hmm, I personally would like to maybe bring back Cyber Sunday, where it's the first Sunday in October, and it can be it can be so easier now because now you can just do your votes on Twitter. Twitter now has polls, so there's now you do all of the polls on Twitter, and you do it like a a day beforehand. You do it on that Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and then the poll is 24 hours. So then by Sunday in the afternoon, you know what the match is gonna be, what stipulation goes with it, anything like that. So and you can just do all of that. So I think that would be perfect. I'm open minded to it. Um, so to put something, having another thing in there. Maybe even Money in the Bank. Having putting the Money in the Bank pay per view in there. Even though I didn't think, especially now, I think I first didn't think Money in the Bank should have been a pay per view because it seemed like it should just be a match. But now since you have the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, I guess you do need to to have a pay per view for it. So maybe that's the pay per view in October, and then or you can replace it with Survivor Series. Have it in the last Sunday, the last Sunday in November. Because even though I'm okay with Survivor Series and they're fun, I do say that I you know I wonder if it is needed right now. If it is, if it needs to be done right now, because about 7 8 years ago, Vince McMahon wanted to get rid of it because he thought it had gone stale and had passe, and people within the creative parts told him no, it's still good. But I was saying this is one of the things that all of the knucklehead fans say about Survivor Series that I think when they complain about WWE, this might be right, because there's you know with the brand extension going back into place, and we'll get to that in a second. Um, they did not do Raw versus SmackDown. Everything is Raw versus SmackDown, which isn't bad. But you look at it like right now. You look at it. There is there is a split of the not a split, but there's a unification of the tag titles and unification of the world titles. So I guess there'll just be championship matches, but that's all it's going to be, right? Uh, so so and so it's just kind of done for now. So unless they're gonna do something where they're gonna go back to having all of the matches being Survivor Series matches, which I think is gonna do, which I think would be pretty cool to do. I'm just not sure about that. So I would I'm saying Survivor Series right now, but I would be open to not having Survivor Series on the card as well. So uh, yeah, so those are the six premium live events. They still have the thing with Saudi Arabia. So you do those two, you have eight for the next 6 or 7 years that's left on this contract, right? So you do those, but it should be down to six. It really should be. And I think that's the perfect amount of premium live events that you can have. Next, I'd like to see the 24/7 title turned into a women's secondary title, whether it's a women's United States Championship, women's Intercontinental Championship, or women's television title. Something that is different. Because right now it's on Dana Brooke, and especially not like ever since like the Triple H's regime has turned around. He hasn't done anything with the 24/7 title really. I think it's been defended in on live events, but not on Raw or even SmackDown. So turn it into a women's secondary title. I think that can be more efficient. That can give women another level to aspire to, and it's can be I think it could be another tool in the toolbox for the creative to find something to do with some of the other women on the lower down on the card. Number three, less scripted promos, and I think it may be starting to get that way. We've seen some pretty passionate promos from Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens and such, and where they are using terms of like wrestling and wrestler that have now been eased up on, and I think that they are giving these guys a chance to to do that. Liv Morgan, she she actually said on SmackDown, when the fans started to chant "You tapped out" at her, she said that I always think you fans would call me out on my shit. So So I think maybe we're starting to get a little bit less scripted promos in there, and which can it always help. It also hurt because some people can ramble off and ramble on, and we'll get a Age of McGillicuddy promo and everything like that. But I think that's a fine way to go. Let's with the promos. So I talked about this earlier. Ending the brand split. It's time. It really is time. There's even some talk about that once again they're going to split up the tag titles and the heavyweight championships. No, no. What you should be doing is that you should be merging. What you should be doing is you should be taking this time to slowly merge back into one thing, so that we're at WrestleMania. You have you can have everything. You can have the heavyweight championships merged and stay merged. You can have the tag titles stay merged. You can have you can maybe even merge the women's titles at WrestleMania. Merge those at WrestleMania. The Raw and SmackDown become one women's championship, and anything like that. And then you can have the Intercontinental title be on SmackDown. The United States Championship be on Raw. But let's not take these away and take these out. And I don't understand why these people and fans, they want this to happen. No, no. There's even talk about doing this like with the Drew match coming up with Roman at Clash at the Castle. That they're gonna surprise and say there's only gonna be for one championship, so Drew can win it and take it to Monday Night Raw. No, no, fuck that. Come on. We got to end this brand split. We really got to. It's so like this. And even in fact, if you wanted to, I would even say this. I would be even with a compromise. Keep the brand split. Okay, fine. Keep the brand split. But still merge the titles. Merge that women's championship so that the heavyweight champion, the tag champion, and the women's champion, and again, like I talked about earlier, the turn the women's title into a secondary title, that championship, they even ones that float from show to show, like it was supposed to originally be when the first brand split happened back in 2003. So they've got to, or two or whatever, 2002. This is stupid. It really is. It's stupid and it's tiresome. It's old. Let's do this. Let's end the brand split, or at the very least, let's merge the women's titles, and then let's go ahead and let's go there from there. And finally, this is the biggest one. I do not want the main roster trying to compete with AEW. And here's what I mean by that. Twofold. First off, they're not competition, right? They're not. If they were real competition, they would be going head to head with the show, with Raw and SmackDown. They're not doing it. So they're not real competition. That's one. But two, and the main thing we're talking about is don't think you have to do all of these crazy things on these crazy shows, just because AEW does it. AEW is doing, ladder matches and first blood matches and coffin matches on Dynamite and Rampage and all of these things. Every week somebody's bleeding their heads off. There's no need for that, right? There's no need for that. There's no need to do that. What they're doing what they've done in the past 4 weeks has been perfectly fine. They've given matches a little bit more time. They've not done gone away completely from the promos. The promos are a little bit less you know lengthy, something like that. I guess you could say, and I guess that can't be that's not a bad thing. It's just different. I have to get used to it. Like which is I'm totally fine in doing so because things have been pretty good. Um, and I also wanted to be more serious. For instance, Bobby Lashley had a United States Championship match against Ciampa. I was worried that he was going to put the United States Championship on Ciampa, just because that's what some of these fans would want, right? But I think they did it perfectly because You want it to be like realistic. You want it to be realistic. That's what everybody wants a fan to be realistic and have it make sense. Tommaso Ciampa in real life, Tommaso Ciampa is not beating Bobby Lashley in a amateur wrestling match. He's not beating him in a fight. This is a guy who's done MMA and he's done the amateur wrestling stuff and things like that. Ciampa is not going to beat Bobby Lashley. And that's what I was worried about. For Ciampa to beat Bobby Lashley, there needs to be a whole bunch of other stuff to go on, and there needs to, some like a lot of cheating and a lot of things like that, and someone else. It's the same thing like what happened with the Miz, right? Um, the Miz beating Drew McIntyre, cashing in on Drew McIntyre for the championship, is because Bobby Lashley beat up Drew McIntyre. Yes, the Miz probably 9 times out of 10 isn't going to beat a Drew McIntyre in a real fight, in an amateur wrestling match or whatever. So that's how they did it, and it was good. And then when it came back around, Bobby Lashley basically kind of squashed the Miz, and that's kind of the way that it should be. Things should make sense, and we don't see that, on AEW. Orange Cassidy beats beats a whole lot of people. Darby Allin beats a whole bunch of people, and that shouldn't be the way it is. So I was worried about that, but it didn't make sense, and that's what I want. I want this stuff to make sense and to be sensical. Just don't do something just because they're a darling. I saw that with Ricochet, and I was like, would Ricochet beat Baron Corbin like in a fight? And so he beat him 2 times straight. So I don't know if I'm okay with that. I think Baron Corbin should have won. Maybe one of those. So, but I'm going to go on and see what it is. But that's what I mean when I say I want the main roster not to try to compete with AEW. Don't do the shit that they do. Do what you do and do what you do best. So, and hopefully that will happen because the main roster is not AEW, it's not NXT. It's kind of understandable that if you want Johnny Gargano to be your heavyweight champion in NXT, fine. He should not be the heavyweight champion on the main roster. Not a chance. Same thing with Tommaso Ciampa. Not when you get all of those big guys who are, those other guys who can truly be there. And then somebody say, well, isn't that Shawn Michaels? Listen, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa are way smaller than Shawn Michaels. They're way smaller than Bret Hart. Okay? They're bigger, around the same size as Rey Mysterio, yes. But I think Rey Mysterio, it was somehow reasonable. And if Triple H can make it feel like Tommaso Ciampa, and for the most part though, Johnny Gargano, have it be reasonable for them to be a champion, then I'll go with it. But right now, it's not really feasible in my eyes. So, but yeah, do not try to compete with AEW. They're no competition to you. You are the best in the world at what you do in WWE. Just keep doing what you're doing. All right, so let's quickly recap what I think the 5 things I like to see under new management. Less premium live events. Go down from once a month to like one every 2 months. Bring it 6. And then of course you have your 2 Saudi shows. 24/7 championship turning to a women's secondary title. Women's United States, women's Intercontinental, women's television title, whatever. Just turn that around. Less scripted promos. I think we hit it down that lane anyway. Uh, in the brand split and merge the women's championship, or if you don't even in the brand split, at least merge the women's championships. Let's do this. Keep the titles merged. And of course, and lastly, the main roster not try to compete with AEW because they're no competition. You just keep being WWE. Don't try to be anything else but WWE. So there you have it. The 5 things I'd like to see under new WWE management. So please post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. What would you guys like to see under new WWE management? Yes, put that down in the comment section. And yeah, let your boy know what you think of it. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.